Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. How's the last week treated you, bro? A little bit crook for one, and a hectic story out of yesterday.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a
Into witness protection program.
Yeah, who knows?
shortly.
Who knows what'll be going on? There was a bit of a some bloke running around the neighbourhood,
Bit of a
causing I don't know what was going on, causing a bit of havoc. Running around and ended up helping the police looking for some weapon, and it was all on. So
crazy times.
A little bit of an unusual start to your Monday.
As someone was fucking. Did you see the dude who had an axe?
Yeah, up in Albany. Yeah, pretty full on.
Nutty times in Auckland.
Yeah, the world's gone crazy. But
weapons are plenty.
I think the biggest thing to come from the weekend, it's the talk of the town in terms of the rugby league world, and it's the only thing really to be talking about at the moment is the I feel like there needs to be some sort of title for this. I know there needs to be a name of something. We can't just call it what it is. But Alex Twal scoring his first meaty, it couldn't have been an easier try to score.
Twalgate?
Twalgate. Yeah.
The week that sort of opens up new horizons for Alex Twal and the Tigers,
and then there was
potentially the rest of the world there. 3 or
4 other blokes who'd scored their first try of the season there for the Sharkies in that game there after Twal scoring his try. So it was. I sort of celebrated like we'd won the game. Maybe why we lost, who knows? I think I was frothing it. It was bloody awesome. Had a bit of a jump around, a few chahos. Thought we played really, really strongly, and that was the only bloody try we could finish. One that bounced to us in the end goal. So a little bit unfortunate, but cool to see him knock it off. So a bit of a bugger. We've got the bite. Also a bit of a bugger for about 3 or 4 weeks in a row. I'd put $10 on Twilight to score a try, coming in $11 every time. So. And the 1 week that I didn't do it was last week, so also a bit of a bugger there. But yeah, came away off the loss. Didn't win any money off it, but enjoyed it nonetheless.
I suppose the best thing to come out of a loss.
It's the best thing to come out of a loss for a wee while. I think.
His first.
I think we might have just swithed off possibly from there on. I know That was
you guys.
We'd won the
grand
game.
Final,
We'd won a game then, So we get the bye. We come back hopefully that little bit stronger the week after. Not looking too flash though. That'll be us clocking in all 3 of our buys. 3 buys, I believe 3 buys.
3 buys each.
Yeah, the old doggies only had 1 at the moment. So although they are down there at the bottom with us, it's they get those 4 points on us, and we're probably done for. So, not looking too flash for the Tigs, but we get 2 points if they have a big loss this weekend. Not even a big loss if they lose this weekend. No, I think as long as they don't win, we'll go ahead of them. So,
nice.
We'll take the 2, but I also had you for a little bit there over the weekend.
Was that Friday night, Cowboys?
Yeah, pull off that bet in a pretty a crazy game that was. But yeah,
so you jump into the lead by about $3 or $4 there, but I pegged you back.
Didn't last too long, no.
With, Gutho and Para helping me out there with 2 weeks in a row. So I've gone back to it again. Had to, but that's a little spoiler for later. But had to be done. Hat trick.
I think I've actually gone back to one of the old faithfuls. I believe only put them in a little while ago. I think I did. Yeah, I think it might have gone back to an old faithful after you calling me out previously for going away from it, I believe. But before we get into any of the NRL, tomorrow, game 2 is upon us. Obviously, the Blues are going into this one trailing by 1. 1-0 down, best of 3, so 1-0 down, best of 3, near the Flash's position to be in.
No.
Ideally, 1 up in a best of 3. I'm thinking best of 3 in anything, 1 up is ideal, but we do love a comeback. I think anyone loves a little bit of a comeback story, so all on for the Blues in this one here. It's going to be a big task for them, I believe, up there in Suncorp. I think it's going to be a pretty tough one.
Yeah, it's as tough as it comes for the Blues, location-wise up there in Suncorp, and yeah, a couple of big stars ruled out for them this time round. Obviously didn't have Latrell last time, but again, he's been ruled out, so Crichton slots back in there. Burton obviously comes in as 18th man there. So yeah, interesting. Huge, I guess, history beckoning for potential history beckoning for New South Wales, and the likes of Mitchell Moses, if he can pull something like this off, it throws a big spanner in the works for the landscape of halfbacks in the NRL, in the State of Origin arena at least. But Queensland coming in as hot favourites, and deservedly so. They'll be looking to wrap things up with their 50,000 screaming Queenslanders watching on. 2 in a row for Queensland wouldn't be a too shabby of a start for Billy as the Queensland coach.
Not at all. I think he'll be going into this one thinking that he's got every reason to.
When you look back, maybe not 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, New South Wales had won the series, and then it was a shock Queensland win, and then New South Wales just blew Queensland off the park. 2 of those 3 games there. Thought it might be bad signs for Queensland, but it's looking like being very good signs.
Yeah, it's I think you've probably got to be, if you're a Queensland fan, probably got to be going into this one pretty confident, I think. After sort of what we saw from the Blues last time around, I think there's a lot of people out there saying that Fred's a bit unsure about the way he wants to go about things. Obviously, choosing to opt away from 2 hookers game 1 and then sort of reverting back to it in this game here. People sort of, a little bit unsure if he knows exactly what he wants to do. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty tough for the Blues in this one here. I've got to say, as hard as it is to say, I think I'm probably leaning towards the Maroons. I don't see why they don't make it 2-0.
Is this the first time potentially, since we've been punters, that Queensland have been favourites? Obviously, you got the days of Smith, Thurston, Cronk, Slater, Inglis roaming around. Surely they would have been favourites back then.
Been punting too much back then.
Yeah, I guess they played from 2014 through 13 through to 17.
A couple of the bets at the right track though back in the day.
So we were off punting age, but I've never seen Queensland being favourites.
Yeah, no, not that I'm aware of. What were they? $1.60 something?
Maybe $1.80 something. $1.40 to $2.80.
I can't remember what it was. I tried to opt away from a winner, opt away from a score, opt away from a margin as such. Obviously, the only man to be involved there from the Tigers is Big Steph. Obviously making his debut there. So. No.
Yep.
No. Yes.
Debut.
Making his debut. Yeah.
Before, but debut.
Yeah. Sorry. Making his debut, and I think as much as I don't really, as a selfish Tigers fan, want him to be involved, I don't want him to go out there, maybe get a little Origin curse like Uppy, come back the week after and break his jaw.
Watch out for Tino.
Yeah, who I don't believe we've got the Titans the week after, but I'm backing him to score. I'm hoping that'll come off a little debut try, $11. That's the way I've gone this week for game 2.
You never know what happens. Potentially, him and Cookie him and Robson off the bench have been working on a sneaky little play to get him over. $11, not bad. But I've gone same tactic as last time. Didn't quite come off for me, but I've got to pick with my heart in this one because it's delivering a shitload of value as well. So New South Wales to pick up the win with an exact scoreline of 22 points to 18. That's going to reel you in $131.57.
Jesus, yeah, not too shabby. There, the old 3-digit income. Always a nice looking bet to see if that one does roll in through fair. A little bit of profit in the bank. Now, we take a little look at the team of the week. Again, I apologise. I believe this must be 3 weeks in a row now where I'm yet to bring you a half-year, half-season team of the NRL. I'm going to go out on a limb and have a guess, have a punt that we've got one crazy listener or viewer out there that may like to compile all of our team of the weeks for us. Maybe put a little Excel spreadsheet. I'm not the flashiest on the old Excel. I know you're not too shabby on the old sheets.
Yeah, I'll do alright.
I'm also not a sheets dude. More of a, as if you did see in the previous video when I did whip out the paper for a little bit, I'm a paper and pen dude. I'm old fashioned. I'm writing down your stats as a grower. I'm writing down your stats for anything. But I just haven't got around to it. So we might wait. We'll wait till the end of the,
team of the year.
Yeah, team of the year. If there's anyone out there that wants to hit us with one for 13, 14 rounds into the season, you're more than welcome to. But I do apologise. But we do have a team of the week for last week. Now, starting us off in our fullback position, the man who, I guess, in two ways made my money for me last weekend. Obviously scored his try early on, so I sort of was just holding out for that win to come there for the Cows, but then managing to get that try there in Golden Point, Scotty Drinkwater, did enough there with the two tries and a pretty good performance to take that number 1 jersey for this week.
Yep, a really strong performance there for the Cows, and what some might label a bit of an upset victory over the Panthers. Some may not, but Drinky had a great game there, and then joining him in the back three, a man who doubled Drinkwater's effort in terms of crossing the stripe. Willie Warbrick, 4 tries against the Tigers. Now, poor bloke's been absolutely overshadowed by Alex Twal's try.
Yeah, sort of just went a little bit under the radar there with the amount of tries. It was 4 in the end.
Yeah.
He also must have had one disallowed, I believe.
Right.
I think he must have crossed the try line 5 times, and I'm pretty sure he had one disallowed. I also did fall asleep with about, I'm going to guess, somewhere between 8 and 5 minutes left of the game to go.
Right.
So, and I kind of woke up and the stream had sort of munted out a little bit. It was kind of frozen, so I'm guessing I missed the last ending, so I don't know if maybe a 4th try was what did come through then right at the end there. I can't remember by that stage. I kind of, I think, like I said, I'd switched off. The game was won once Twalgate had scored his try.
Yeah.
So I was in celebration mode.
Moment of the season.
Yeah, moment of the season. I think it goes down in history. I know there's lots to talk about. Putting the day down as like a national holiday, where everyone gets a free meat pie. I don't think it would. I don't know if we get it. Part of the Anzac Agreement, maybe the Australia-New Zealand agreement there, that we'd be able to celebrate that day there. What is it? What's the date today? The 20th. I want to say June 17th. Off the top of my head there, Alex Twal Day, Meat Pie Day. I don't know if we get involved in that. We'll have to have a look. But there you go. Look at that again. He's been overshadowed. We're talking about Warbrick scoring 4 tries, and we're on to Alex
just
Twalgate
completely
again.
directed it through the Twalgate.
So I think it's a bit of a theme we're going to see. But Willie Warbrick, he does take the 2. He's on the wing there, and joining him on the other wing, Tupou. There had again. Can't really remember too much of this game, but from what I have read, it looked like he had a pretty awesome game.
Yeah, he was big for the Chooks in their desperation win up against Newcastle there. But another man who he didn't play in the centres, but we just had to get him in this team off the back of his performance in that game. Joey Manu running for yet another 300 plus metre game at the back there. Which goes to show that if this bloke was to play fullback week in, week out in the NRL, he'd probably be a top 3 fullback if he could stay injury free. You think of the likes of Tommy Turbo, Latrell, struggling a little bit over the last few years with injuries. He's just unlucky there's a man named James Tedesco at his club.
Yeah, he's a little bit out of luck there, I think, if he wants to be taking the 1 jersey off him. But we managed to sneak him into that team there, into the centres. Joined there by Bailey Simonson, another bloke who had a good performance there over the weekend. Rounds out the back 5 for the team of the week. Now, again, I want to say a first appearance. I don't know, actually, maybe Tommy Dearden's been in here. I'm not too sure.
Bit of an underwhelming season for the Cows. So
it could be a first appearance. Tommy Dearden there taking the 6. And joined there in the halves by Nico Hines after sort of being slated by everyone, not making the Origin squad and having a shocking performance there for the Sharkies. Everyone was on his back. Goes out and does what he did on Sunday and had an awesome game. And I think the high point of the week for him would have been seeing he's been named in the TGIF Team of the Week, most likely. It's a high accolade to receive, and I'd say he's pretty stoked to be in there again and putting in a good crack for that team of the season.
Yep, it was also his birthday, and Britton Nakora's
could have the birthday might have taken first cake.
100th game there.
Then Nakora's second place, and then maybe that's third. But it's a close third, nevertheless. But that's our back line. Now we're moving to the forwards.
Goes without saying, this number 8 jersey.
It's you can kind of write it in there before the week started. Well, maybe not before the week had started. By the end of the week, you gave it a look. You could lock it in there. Now you may be thinking this bloke is one of our usuals. Usually a 4-lettered name. This bloke's also got 4 letters in his name as well. We haven't put in Payne Haas. He's not getting his 12th or 13th appearance in the team of the week. Alex Twal gets his meaty. Bloke in the bar managed to slot him in there 17 times into their team of the week. There was no way we were able to do that, unfortunately. We might have been able to chuck him in there. We might have been able to plop in a few more 12s along the way.
4 or 5, maybe.
4 or 5 max. You probably can't have too many.
Maybe next week, if he scores his second try, we'll get him in there twice.
Yeah. Well, so we'll continue to upgrade that as we go, and
once he scored 13 tries,
he can get in there.
Yeah.
It'll be his team, but we'll wait till then. But he does take the 8 for this week, so well done to him. Joined there by one of our more customary appearances in the team of the week, the double barrel. It's a bit of a culture of TGIF to get your double barrel in there. Fortunately, neither of us rolling with a double barrel. maybe come the wedding, maybe you take Lana's name.
Yeah, I don't know.
The double barrel.
It's essential in winning an NRL premiership. I don't see myself
You don't see yourself
slotting into any
That's
top
fair.
30 squads.
That's fair.
And the horizon, so I don't really see
I'd
the
probably
need.
chuck you in my team of the week for a
Maybe
few weeks in a row.
Maybe my kids can rock the double barrel just in case they come through the system somewhere. We can say
good call.
this is what they bring to the party, guys.
Good call.
They're double barrel.
Yeah, I think go for it. I think go for it 100%. Rock the double barrel for the kids, and hey, who knows?
Hopefully they get picked up by Gus Gould along the way.
I mean, when you think about double barrels in all sports, there are other double barrels that spring to mind. You know, I'm thinking of the Wright Phillips family. There's a nice looking double barrel there.
Emil Smith Rowe.
Smith Rowe. That's only two.
Hal Robson Kanu.
Big goal at the Euros.
Yeah. Wales.
Yeah. There's got to be a couple more in there.
Yeah.
Any cricketers rocking the double barrel?
Cricketers rocking the double barrel. I'm sure there are. I've got a Rugby Union World Cup winner, Milner Scudder.
There we go, rocking the double barrel.
But anyway,
league very heavily populated by the double barrels.
Yeah.
I'd love to see, again, we haven't spoken about this for a few weeks, but we're still after that stat, man. Now, I'd love to know the stats
it would be a huge assignment.
Proportions of double-barreled. Which sport has the most double barrels?
It's a huge assignment.
Yeah, it would be a hard task. It'd be hours of scouring. But hey, there's a third spot on the couch for anyone who would like to come along and do the hours of scouring. Get that double barrel research going. Because we need one each week. We've got a plan now and set to turn your future children into possible, not locking it in, but possible future NRL prodigies, maybe with a double barrel. It's up there.
NRL premiership winners, yeah.
Premiership winners, yes, that's right. And probably team of the week, TGAF team of the week, incumbents.
Yeah, I'd have to say, if I'm still picking a team of the week and I've got any kids running around the NRL, doesn't matter if they've dropped the ball 15 times and let in 5 missed tackle tries.
Do you think Brad Arthur had Jakey there in his team of the week last week?
Oh, it'd be tough to say. Brad Arthur's maybe
after what they were talking about on
a little bit less
the other night.
Sentimental than the message I was just trying to get across, but yeah, maybe not actually.
But back to the team of the week.
Jacob Arthur's only got one last name. There's no double.
That plays a big part in the NRL. The double barrel. That's all we can say.
We've gone off on a bit of a tangent.
But there you go. There's your two props, Alex Twal and
James Fisher-Harris.
I don't think we'd actually said who it was yet, had we? No. James Fisher-Harris.
James Fisher-Harris after all of that dribble. Yeah. On the losing side, unfortunately, but monstrous, and as we say, double barrel.
Yeah. Double barreled.
Brady.
You're lucky. You can be on a losing side and still get in the team if you're double barreled.
But Blake Brayley, he takes the number 9 jersey there, in between those two big boys, in that front row of the scrum, so to speak. Huge performance for the Sharkies in their demolition, shellacking, however you want to label it, of the doggies there on Sunday afternoon.
Shellacking, well and truly, I think that's what we said. It was a shellacking, post-shellacking. You shellac somebody having been previously shellacked yourself. So we'll definitely lean towards the shellacking there. But no, it takes the number 9. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. But we move into the back row. Another bloke, unfortunately, there coming in from a losing side. Papali'i there from the Tigs had a solid performance there.
Yeah, I think he he's tried his ass off. I don't know if that's really
That's how it works.
He's just been absolutely running his backside off for the side all year. Few things maybe haven't been coming off for him, but yeah, another huge effort for him, and I guess makes his way into the team there off the back of probably not the best performance of his career, but a hard-fought one, I suppose.
Yeah, he put in the work, I think is what you could say. I think that was maybe the way you could look at it. He's putting in the work.
I mean,
that first half, he had a few very good runs. He did the damn thing, yeah. Maybe not up to the standard that we were expecting, but he put in a good shift. So he's made his way into that team of the week. I'm sure he celebrated well with Twalgate there as well after that try. So, he had to get a teammate in there for Twalgate. He's not used to this arena. But a man who we did speak about before had a little bit of a celebration there over the weekend. It wasn't Nico Hines and having the birthday, but Britton Nakota having his 100th game there makes his way into the team of the week. Again, probably up there. I think he'd be juggling which one he would say is more of an achievement. The team of the week jersey there, or 100 games.
I think an appearance in the team of the week is
pretty
more or
less equivalent to
100 NRL first grade
exchange
games
rate
there.
going pretty similar. So well done to him. He gets the jersey there, and we round off this team with Hopgood taking that 13 jersey, putting a pretty solid shift there. And that win for the Eels to make their way into the top 8, I want to say for the first time this year, I think.
Yeah, I think they might even be saying like around about that top 4.
No, I think they only just snuck into the 8 after last
really?
weekend. Yeah.
Maybe if they won this week.
Imogen came in pretty hot and happy yesterday, first time in the 8, I believe.
Potentially Sharks went back above them, and maybe Melbourne and then Sharks went back above them after their wins.
Yeah.
So maybe after they
were up there a little bit higher.
Yeah. Because I remember someone saying
8th, yeah.
Because look, you got Sharks and they wouldn't have been. So Sharks would have gone above them, or did they have better?
I'm not too sure.
No, Sharks would have gone above them because their points difference was worse. Oh yeah, maybe I'm just thinking if they win this week, they could go boom.
Yeah.
Equal there into the top 4, which is quite the turnaround from the Eels. Parramatta there, but the first game of this week, post Origin, Friday night there, sees my beloved St George Illawarra Dragons taking on the Warriors. Now, both teams coming off a bye. You said the biggest piece of news from the weekend was that Twalgate try. Now, I think Ben Hunt has come and just shelved that one for the time being, with an absolute bombshell for the Dragons requesting an immediate release, even going so far as to suggest that he's willing to pay himself out of his own contract.
Pay 150k to get out of it. He said he doesn't want to come back.
Yeah.
After Origin, he wants to, I'm guessing, just move straight to wherever he wants to, well, stay in Queensland, I guess.
Yeah.
That's where he wants to be. So whether or not that means he does go to the Gold Coast or...
Do the Finns have any money left to slot him into the Hearts of North there?
Yeah. Who knows?
Go play back under Wayne Bennett again. Pretty sure he would have played under him at Brisbane. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Obviously, off the back of Shane Flanagan being announced as the coach, a couple of days later, Benny Hunt dropped that bombshell on the Dragons. Yeah, it's an interesting one. We've stood firm and said you're not getting a release, but I don't know how that goes down. With the rest of the players out there, in the squad. Maybe those young guys that are coming through in Ben Hunt's position that they've dreamt of pulling on that jersey and would do anything to pull on that jersey. Coming through the grades would have been the only thing, or obviously other dreams as well, but one of the main dreams versus a bloke who has literally publicly come out and said, I don't want to play for this club anymore. He's obviously, on the other hand, our best player, has been for a number of years, so I don't think it's the case of he's going to be so distracted and not give a fuck that much that you drop him down to reserve grade at any stage. So I think the only sort of way that the Dragons move forward here, two options, is the obvious one is to release Ben Hunt and see where he ends up, and do our best to deal with the fallout there, or Shane Flanagan manages to get him back on side, which doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough ask, I think.
It's really
Flano there to try and get him back on side. I'm pretty sure it looks like he's locked and loaded where he wants to, or where I was going to say where he wants to be, where he wants to not be, and that's I guess
that's
down
for
there
sure.
on the wire. So how much this has an effect on the team this week, we'll have to wait and see.
He's been named at 7.
He's been named at 7.
Which is just very bizarre. I mean, yeah, look, I can understand Ben Hunt's point of view 100%. We're a basket case of a club, and he's probably a top 4 or 5 number 7 there. And on his day can also be a top 3 number 9. So yeah, definitely not where he deserves to be playing. But on the other hand, yeah, it's a bit rough to be publicly trying to get out of your contract and all of that sort of nonsense. But we see it all the time from players. So and clubs too. They look to move players on and terminate their contracts before they're due to finish up off the back of maybe poor performances or dodgy things they've done out in the media, out in the public eye. So yeah, I really don't know how to feel about this one, apart from purely just gutted that he's not going to be either lining up for our club or buying into our club.
Yeah, I think it's possibly the former there. I believe it was probably lining up for the club. I don't see how the Dragons can keep him around really there.
Yeah.
I think it's a rough ask, and I don't really see it being too. I mean, it's it's pretty rough of Benny Hunt to go out there and do it like this, but it's.
He's also been treated like shit.
Yeah, and you're also not going to get the best out of him if he's not keen to be playing. But I think it's going to be possibly tough for you lads regardless this week. Obviously coming up against the Warriors, who are also coming in off the bye. They are looking, as hard as it is to say, they are looking pretty flash at the moment. Yep. The Warriors, they're playing some pretty good footy, and with your boys sort of languishing down there, just floating above us at the moment, down there at the bottom. It could be a tough night, and obviously the Warriors not affected by Origin at all, which is always, not always the case for the Warriors there, but it's always handy when you are in that position that you don't have anyone playing Origin, that your team gets to go through those rounds completely unscathed, obviously with barring injuries and things like that. So it will be a tough one, I think, this one here. I after going ahead for all of 19 or 20 hours over the weekend there, I thought I'd change tact, and I've kind of been on reflection, not really a change of tact really. I've kind of gone safe with a few, and I've just kind of I think I've kind of gone off the whim. I think it's maybe based on the fact of trying to chuck them in there with no odds. I kind of struggled with that. I needed the money there to sway me a little bit, but I want to get back in first place. Obviously, one of two there. I want to get back in the lead, but I also don't want to see the Warriors win. You know, I want to see the Dragons take the win, and there was a couple of little odds there for the Dragons that I did like the look of. Do I think it's going to come off? Not really. Would I like it to have it come off? I would definitely like it to come off, but I just thought I'd try and make a little bit of money and get as close as I could to, what would be similar if your one was to come off as well. And the good thing is that both can come off, so I can not be, I won't be left in the lurch if yours does come through. But River and Sean Johnson come away with a try. Any stage in the game there, $6.55.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't mind it because it doesn't, like you say, involve necessarily the Dragons losing. Which, yeah, I think a lot of people will be tipping to be the case this week. Obviously, like you said, opposite ends of the ladder there, the Dragons and the Warriors this year. The Warriors seem to be sort of sorting everything out this year and making a really good charge with the crop of players they've brought in and their new coach, and vice versa for the Dragons. Things probably couldn't be going worse off the field there for us. We have obviously managed to appoint a coach finally after about a 7 or 8 week wait. But the Ben Hunt news, I don't think that's going to be swept under the rug anytime soon, and I don't know if the boys will be sort of totally switched on as the Warriors are expected to be this week. So my head says a Warriors win in this one, but my heart, as always, says Dragons to win, and I've said I'm going to do it and just collect whatever units are on offer week to week. Dragons 13 plus. This week, $7.
There you go. Fairly close to what I was pulling out there as well. So we could both come away winners there on the night, but we'll wait and see. But with the Origin round, a slightly shorter round, 3 teams there having the bye, we get straight into Saturday. We start our Saturday off with the Dolphins up against the Eels. Now, the battle of the ocean here, the battle of the waterways. Dolphins often seen, they do come up rivers, I believe. And the eel is obviously sort of the, you could say the shark of the river, the shark of the creek. Maybe the old eel, known to, nibble on toes, things like that, often in shallow creeks. You may be having a swim in a little stream or a little pond, off the beaten track somewhere in New Zealand and feel a little bite in your toe.
Parramatta.
Maybe in Para, I probably wouldn't be swimming in any little creeks off the beaten track anywhere in Aussie. For the likes of the Crocs, now not a league team yet. Yeah.
You'd be alright. There'd be no Crocs in Parramatta.
No Crocs in Para. Well, either way, you never know what you're coming up against.
Eels, though, potentially.
You never know what you're coming up against in Aussie.
Yeah,
you might have a croc that's come up the waterways, mate, and it's made its way into a creek. I'm talking
cold down there for any Crocs to be
making its way through,
moving around very quickly. I don't think, at the very least, let alone surviving. But I'm sure it could be done. We've certainly seen stranger things pop up.
we got to give some credit to the dolphin. They parade around the ocean with the shark and
all around the globe.
Yeah, they all around the globe, and again also up waterways and through the rivers, and yet to see a dolphin in a pond or a lake, I think that would be a sight to see. But they managed to get out there and
brackish, is that the word?
What's that? Brackish
waters. Yeah, it's like in between the sea and the fresh water, like little rivers and shit.
Like an estuary.
Yeah, I guess.
Is that brackish?
Yeah, brackish waters. It's like half fresh, half salt. Like, not fresh water, but like not as salty as the sea.
Kind of like those half chlorine salt pools that you got. Some people have.
Yeah, but natural.
Natural half chlorine
Yeah,
pools.
like no chlorine.
No chlorine.
Just salt.
Salt and fresh water.
Yeah.
So not like those pools then. Okay. Brackish. I'll add it into my vocab. I've never come across the term. But it's a battle of the ocean starting off last Saturday. Now the Dolphins coming in fresh and off the bye. The Eels coming in off that big, possibly also coming in fresh. Didn't really get out of second gear, I don't think, there in that big win up against Manly. So it's an interesting one here, but the Dolphins, after that hot start to the season, it's starting to, the getting down to that nitty gritty. New on the block, the old Dolphins. Had not much history about them, and yet to play a round 20 game in their career. That's big. As a club, never having played a match in round 20, you're coming in down to that part of the season.
This is the furthest they've made it, round 17.
Exactly. So, they're in for the long run. Whether or not they can hang around there or not, we'll have to wait and see. But the Eels, as we said, making their way into the top 8, I believe, for the first time this season. And they'll probably be wanting to continue on with that form, I'd say, that we saw there last week. They looked pretty good there up against Manly. Manly was sort of out of the game pretty early on, and I watched it with Jay there, and he was I think we actually went and got a feed about 10 minutes into the second half pre the Tigers game. So good on you, Jay, for diving away from the game early on, so we could get all the action of the Tigers in, but also cheers to Manly as well for sort of letting that defense off so that we could get away. He'd thrown the white flag, shown the white flag, Jay. Completely fair. I've done it a few times in games before as well, where you opt away from the second half. The Eels were looking pretty good in that first half, though, I got to say, even if they were only in second gear. Could be a similar game, I think, this weekend. I don't think they're going to have to really be on their best form. Hopefully for them, they'll have a Mitch Moses returning. Has he been named?
Probably. Just, I think, based on the fact that they also are obviously still missing Brownie as well. Probably don't want to be going too many weeks with Ryan Mattison doing his thing out in the halves there, as they had last week. Was it Mattison?
Yeah, it was Mattison and Dejan Arce, I think, playing in the halves together.
Yeah, so I suppose they'll be wanting Mitch Moses in there probably as a preferred option to Ryan Mattison in the halves. Chuck Mattison back to lock or back row, wherever he slots back in, with Hopgood also doing the damn thing for Parramatta at the moment. But yeah, far too strong for Manly the other night. Manly obviously missing their heart, soul, and the cherry on top, and Jake, Tommy, and Cherry Evans there. So yeah, it was always going to be tough for Manly to get around the park without those 3 inspirational leaders they have. But Para did well, like you said, to sort of blow them away early and just cruise through that second half a little bit. The Dolphins, they seem to be on the slide. Last few weeks hasn't been the greatest. But back up at home, can they bounce back off the back of a bye? Hammer will be looking to come in and back up off the back of Origin. Who knows? I don't think we saw him do so last time, but that was a flight to New Zealand for the Dolphins, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're
2 days
I think
after
you're right
Origin.
there. It might have been a bit rough on him there.
a bit rougher to expect compared to maybe, just a trip up the road to KO Stadium, or maybe he just comas at Suncorp after the game and sticks around until Saturday night. It'll be a long sleepover.
Pitches a 10 in the 20-metre line.
Particularly when Redcliffe's only like a 40-minute drive away, he'd probably be heading home.
I'm sure he's got some mates in the area that will put him up for the night if need be. Sleep
if they're winning the game, I don't see any of those Queensland boys getting into too many Z's on Wednesday night. They'll be celebrating long and hard into the night, I believe.
Think you're right. So wherever he ends up, who knows where he may end up Thursday morning. That may be where he stays for the next few days until the game. But
back to this Dolphins, this battle of the waterways, Dolphins versus the Eels. What are you picking this week? I see you've steered clear from a result again.
Yeah, I've tried to steer clear from the result again. I originally just gone for Sivo and Gutho to get a couple of tries, but it was just shocking value. I think it was about $2.90, maybe $3 something. So I chucked Hopgood in there. I had a little scroll down, got a bit of value in there, and it's bumped me all the way up to nearly $15. $14.87. So Sivo, Gutho and Hopgood, a couple of tries, 3 tries there. Nearly $15 in the bank, hopefully.
Yep. Not too bad, actually. Hopgood, don't know if he's a regular meat pie gatherer on the footy field.
We've seen it after last week. A few more blokes managing to cross the white line there.
Exactly.
So who knows what we'll get up to.
You never know what Twalgate ends up bringing us there. I'm hoping that things sort of stay as they have done the last 2 weeks for the Eels, as I said earlier, sticking with 3 weeks in a row, Parramatta 13 plus into a Gutho try for $4.26.
Nice and easy looking bet there, and it can obviously be the same. It can help me out as well if my one comes off too. So we could both be happy coming out of that one there. And now 3 games here Saturday, is it? This is the middle of our Saturday sandwich, I believe. What?
Yeah.
We've got a Monday game, have we?
Do we have a Monday game?
Is that 2?
I think we might have 3 Sunday games this week. Yeah, we got 3 Sundays.
3 Sundays, Jesus. Alrighty, so middle game Saturday. There we are. Where are we? Penrith, Newcastle. Now, the Panthers. Some people would maybe be calling it a bit of a shock. Coming off of that loss up against the Cows there, 27-23, that dramatic golden point finish there. Coming up against the Knights, who also had their own tight game there, coming away with also a loss up against the Roosters, 18-16. So both teams coming into this one looking to bounce back. Obviously one team there without their star man and Nathan Cleary. And the Knights, their star man, not involved in Origin. Kalen Ponga there, so interesting to see how this one turns out. I think, you'd like to think that Penrith will be bouncing back. A few more of their blokes will be back, obviously, for this one here. But they were also up a depleted Queensland team, North Queensland team last week as well. So I think the Cowboys did well to stick it out with them for this one here.
Yeah, well, it was sort of, horses for courses, I suppose you could say, Penrith and North Queensland. Penrith missing 6 players, I think North Queensland were missing 5. 4 for Queensland, and obviously Reece Robson called up as well for New South Wales. So, 5 versus 6 stars, and then obviously you would throw Nathan Cleary into that mix as well, had he not been injured. But this one, Penrith up against Newcastle, both sides, as you said, close losses last week. Penrith, they're cruising along top of the table, are they? Second, third, maybe? off the back of that loss, potentially.
Third, I believe. I want to say.
Broncos going back above them off a bye.
Second, yeah.
Yeah, so
second
losing,
on points difference.
No. Oh yeah,
Huge
above,
points difference.
Yeah, right. I thought you meant
above Storm. Yeah.
So yeah, the Bronx leapfrogging Penrith off the back of their bye, and Penrith lost there, but I do expect Penrith to bounce back with those Origin stars looking to back up from Wednesday night's game. At home, they're a formidable side, as we know, so it's going to be very tough for Newcastle. We saw in the reverse fixture of this one a very close, I think it was like 22, maybe 24-22 or 18-16 or something real close like that, where Newcastle just got pipped by Penrith in that one. So yeah, who knows? We might see something similar, but I think at home, just the way they're playing at the moment, Penrith will respond to last week's loss and pick up a good one here up against the Knights, I reckon, at home.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be leaning the same. I don't know if it's going to be as easy for them though as they think. I think without Cleary there, it's obviously a different looking Penrith. Cogger's been doing well with him out, I think.
But yeah, no disrespect to Jack Cogger, he's not Nathan Cleary.
Different kettle of fish when you got Nathan Cleary running around out there for you. So I do think it's going to be a little bit closer than maybe some expects, and it's just a little bit more value going this way as well. So I've gone nice and easy. Penrith Panthers 1-12. I probably haven't whipped out a Panthers 1-12 for a wee while, but $2.95 coming in there, just under $3. So I'll be hoping for a nice tight one there. Makes it
maybe it's a rainy night like we saw Penrith versus Tigers. A horrible shit night.
Yeah, possibly.
Like that.
Who knows?
It doesn't really bode well for my bet if those are the conditions, because I've gone Penrith 13 plus. And then just to juice it up a little bit, I've chucked Kalen Ponga in there to score himself a try. $8.07.
Not too bad, so, coming in there just over the $8 mark. Up you there a little bit if you do come away with the win on the total standings there. But yeah, 3 games there we've confirmed now. 3 games for our Saturday. We get into our final game of our Saturday night. And that is the Storm up against Manly. Now, the Storm obviously coming away with the win up against my Tigers there by the old 20-point margin there. And then, as we said just before, the Sea Eagles coming away with that big loss there to the Eels, obviously without their main men, like you said. Always tough for them without Tommy Turbo out there running around, Jakey there as well, DCA. But yeah, 2 teams coming in with different fortunes from the weekend before. Now the Storm, I think obviously when it's hard when you've scored 4 tries with the same fella. I think there was patches where they obviously played some good footy and they were obviously better than us on the day, but I don't think they were amazing. I think that first half we definitely kept up with them for most of that game, and there was probably stages there where Storm fans were a little bit nervy with some of the mistakes that they were making. There was a few stages there where there was we'd make an error and then they'd make one third tackle into the set or something like that, and we'd be right back down there end again. And so not really like the polished Melbourne that you're used to seeing, but definitely a way better performance than what I saw of Manly there in that game beforehand. They right from the start they sort of seemed to be on the back foot up against the Eels, and thought the Eels looked pretty solid in that one there, and they scored a few tries early on, and hard for Manly to get back into the game from there. Yeah,
I mean Para, they're one of the best sides in the competition when they're on. So potentially there is that excuse for Manly there, as well as missing their stars, but they'll be able They'll be missing the Trebojevic brothers this week as well. Tommy hasn't been named to back up. Possibly a good call in the grand scheme of things from Anthony Seibold there. We know Tommy's injury problems over the years. Not the best idea to play 2 games of footy in 1 week. But yeah, Manly making the trip down to Melbourne. It's going to be a very tough one for them, I think. Bit of a rivalry in this game over the years has sort of built up, so I possibly expect it to be quite close. But yeah, look, you take last week's form lines and add them together. Manly losing by 30 and Melbourne winning by 20. It's not good signs for Manly at all.
No, not at all.
They'll have to turn things around. They'll have to bring that, I suppose, rivalry mentality into this one. Going down to Melbourne, bit of a siege mentality. Who knows? Maybe they can go down there and pick up the win, because as you said, definitely haven't looked like the Melbourne team that we've seen in years gone by, but they're still trucking along up there in the top 8. So I don't expect they'll miss out come the end of the year, which means that they're going to win more than they lose. So yeah, they'll probably end up winning this one as well. Come, what's that, Saturday night? Yep, Saturday night.
Saturday night, final game there Saturday.
So yeah, I think all signs sort of are pointing towards a Melbourne win in this one, but hopefully we do see a good close one for the neutral.
Yeah, a bit more of a contest from Manly would be good.
Keep us awake.
Yeah, exactly, on the end of your Saturday there. Again, I've managed to steer away from any result as such. I've gone for a few try scores now. Twalgate obviously managing to go across the line last week, the odd four-lettered surname, and I've gone for 2 of those in this game here. Justin Olam and Jason Saab to both cross the try line, and it's going to get me $6.16. A nice looking bet there, a palindrome bet. You chuck those numbers back in your place value house, you're going to be looking again at a $6.16 bet. People might say that it's actually 61.6, but place value house, your decimal dot is going to stay in the same spot. So it's a palindrome and it looks good, $6.16. And it does, it's a tasty looking bet there when you look at it on the notes, 2 4-letter names, yeah, nice easy looking bet there. I like the look of that one. I don't know, it might be my only one that comes off.
Your best looking bet.
One of my best looking bets in terms of font placement, I think, the spacing there. Yeah, it looks good.
I like it. Well, hopefully it comes off for you then. As long as mine can come off as well, because I've gone Melbourne 1-12 into Ruben Garrick to cross the stripe, $7.93. Possibly not as good looking on the tip sheet in terms of font placement or font and word placement.
Yeah.
As we're just running through the positives of your bet, but it does bring you home a little bit more value. No palindrome.
No
With the
palindromes,
numbers,
no.
so not as neat, not as easy off the tongue, but $7.93. It trumps $6.16. That's one thing going for my
It does
bet.
trump $6.16. And like you said, they can both come off. It'd be a nice way to end our Saturday and start us off on our Sunday, where we've got a bit of a Queensland derby with both teams here, the Broncos and the Titans, coming in fresh off the bye.
Yeah, our first Queensland derby in a wee while. We went through a phase of having 1 a week or 2 a week.
Yeah, got them all out the way fairly early on in the season. We're back
Quite
to
a
it
while.
now.
Yep. Always brings a good game, or most of the time brings a good game. You got the top of the table Bronx coming up against a Gold Coast side that seem to hanging around that bottom of the 8 there. Maybe need to string together a few more wins to be a threat, but
I think they're going to have their work cut out for them here.
I was going to say something along those lines.
Coming in off the buys obviously is a nice plus, but when you come up against another team coming in off the buy and they're top of the table, and you're in a Queensland derby, and you're at one of Brisbane's 22 games at home or 22 games where they don't have to travel. Obviously, the Gold Coast Titans, they're coming in fresh again, not really off the travel either. They're obviously making the trip there to Suncorp, and that's about it. But they're going to have the work cut out for them in this one. They're going to have to be up for a big one here. We know what the Broncos have been like this year, and they may have a few blokes coming back into the side there off the back of an Origin game. I'm sure they've all been named there to back up for that one there, this first game of the Sunday.
I'm fairly sure, yeah.
I don't think there was any names there that I was aware of who haven't been. So I think they will, yeah. They'll have their work cut out for them, but the Titans will also have a couple of boys returning there, and who knows, for those two there, they're probably two big names that may have a pretty big impact on the way the game turns out on Wednesday night. So either of them could be coming in fresh and coming in hot, and rearing to go. But yeah, I think it's going to be tough for the Titans here in this one. I don't really see any way but a Brisbane win really in this one.
Yeah, I'm the same. It's going to be a very tough one for Gold Coast. We know how strong Brisbane have been overall this year, let alone at home, but you never know. Strange things do happen in derby games. Across, it doesn't matter what sport it is. So yeah, you never know what early Sunday afternoon tosses up for us here. But yeah, like you said, all signs lead towards that big Brisbane win, and I've tipped so. I've gone Brisbane 13 plus into one of those Origin stars returning, Reece Walsh and Katoni Staggs. Possibly a man slightly unlucky to miss selection. $10.18.
Yeah, tasty looking bet there. And yeah, you're right, possibly a little bit unlucky to be involved, not be involved there, Staggsy. I've sort of just gone out there and just absolutely done my bet in there. I don't know what my thinking was here, but I have already placed it, so I'm looking at it. I've gone for a Broncos 1-12 now. I obviously had some reason to do this when I first placed this. I don't have a bloody clue because really I don't really see anything but
maybe you thought Ben Hunt was going to run out for Gold Coast.
I have no clue where I've gone for this one, but I have placed it. I'll just double check that I didn't maybe do a little typo. I did have a 1-12 earlier on, so there is a chance. Where are we? Brisbane 1-12, locked in. And by the looks of it, the odds have gone down actually by the time I placed it. So we've got there 295, but it's only 290 there for me. So
it's coming in. You're moving the market.
Yeah, we have. Who knows what's going to happen there? I don't know why I've gone for a 1-12, but I'll be obviously hoping for a slightly closer game than what I'm expecting to start off your Sunday. But with a Super Sunday, we've got the 3 games. Game 2, we kick off with a bit of Bunnies versus Cowboys action now. The Bunnies coming in fresh off the bye. The Cowboys coming off that nice looking win there up against the Panthers. Now, is this, we've been saying it for a wee while, that they needed to find their form at some stage. Was that the game? Maybe where the Cowboys can sort of turn their season around a little bit?
Yeah, well, where are they sitting now? They've clawed their way into 13th above the Knights. 1 win off being in the 8.
Obviously, points difference
as well.
there, but
But
One
everyone
win
there out of the 8 is in the negatives. You've got the Raiders in the negatives. So next couple of weeks, results go their way. Things are back on track. But that's the key for North Queensland. They do have to keep picking up these wins.
Yeah, they need to get that consistency going, that's for sure. And but a win up against Penrith, I think that's going to go a long way to helping them there.
Yep.
They definitely looked good, I thought, in that game there. Obviously, as we said before, it's a different Penrith team when there's no Nathan Cleary. But you can't take anything away from them. They managed to get the 2 points. Shout out to Drinkwater there with the double and the big try there at the end. But this Bunnies team have looked pretty good this year and coming in fresh, having the bye, having the extra week there to prepare, and obviously, I don't know, has Latrell been named there for the Bunnies?
No, he hasn't. Hasn't been named, so he's obviously still struggling with that calf injury.
Yeah, who knows how long he's going to have to be on the sidelines now for. It might be a little bit longer. Wait till he's definitely 100% before he comes back, I guess. But yeah, this has got a good game written all over. I think this one here. We managed to see a pretty hearty effort, I think, from the Cowboys last week, and I think, like I said, we've seen some good footy from the Bunnies. So yeah, I think this is going to be a really good game. It should be a good matchup if the Cowboys can stick with the Bunnies for the full 80 and, like you said, find a bit of consistency. I think this one should hopefully go right down to the wire.
Yeah, I think that's the key. We know Souths are playing awesome footy. They're at the right end of the ladder, and they're exactly where the Cowboys would want to find themselves at this stage of the season. So they're going to have to bring their best to match it with Souths for the 80 minutes if they want to come away with the win in this one. But, I mean, if they do bring their best, then they will easily have enough to, beat Souths, beat any side in the comp. So that's the key Sunday afternoon. If the Cowboys can bring some good footy along. A lot of stars looking to back up from Origin there, but they do have big Jason Taumalolo returned last week. Don't know if he's into that starting lineup for this week or maybe another run off the bench.
I think possibly another run off the bench.
Probably doesn't really matter for him either way. He's going to probably get the same sort of amount of minutes. Where they'll look to increase that over the next few
it's
weeks.
starting, but they often do those little quick switcheroos. In the last hour before kickoff, or just before that, and you see them running out off the bench in the 13.
Yeah, that's a big in for the Cowboys though.
Yeah.
Obviously, sort of swept under the radar a little bit during their barren run. Obviously, can't rely just solely on one player, but he does give that go forward that's key for the likes of Drinkwater to play his best footy. So yeah, fingers crossed we can see the best of the Cows on Sunday afternoon and get a good matchup in this one.
Yeah, that's
the way we're tipping.
Exactly what I'll be hoping for now. I've backed the Cows to take the win here, backed them to find that little bit of consistency. I'm hoping it'll be a close one, a little 1-12, and that man you've just spoke about there, Taumalolo, back in the team, get himself a meaty, $19.60, 60 cents there, so $19.60, nearly $20. Pretty tasty looking beer. I think that's my biggest of the week so far.
It is good value, but call it $20. Yeah, not too bad. So you'll be hoping Big JT can get plenty of ball on Sunday afternoon. But look, I won't mind if he scores a try to keep things close for Souths. But I'm picking that Souths one. So Souths 1-12 into Campbell Graham to score. I was going to go for Latrell if he was named, but obviously still feeling the effects of that injury. So Campbell Graham takes his spot in my bet, $6.04.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. I actually had something similar happen. I tried to put Holmes in there, but I'm guessing he's been named at in like 19 or 21 there.
Oh yeah, so they've got Robson and
Yeah, they've named them all in the reserves.
yeah.
So Holmes didn't
So
come
I'll
up.
see how they are.
Holmes wasn't
feeling, I
available to put
suppose.
in there, but JT adds a bit more value into it, beefs it up a little bit. So I'll be hoping that one there comes off as we get into our last game of the round. That is the Roosters up against Canberra to finish off our Sunday. Now, Canberra coming in fresh off that bye, and the Roosters, like you said before, coming away with a vital win there up against the Knights, a close one there, coming away 18-16. Not a season that we expected to see here from the Roosters, and coming away with a close win that only gets them into what I believe 11th or 12th. Not really the best season at all for the Roosters, and obviously quite a few injuries there they've had to deal with at stages throughout the year, but they had to be on for this game here up against the Knights.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a fair few injuries, and they have they've beaten Canterbury and Newcastle in the last 2 weeks there, narrow margins, 1 and 2 points. Look, really haven't been playing their best footy. They're the Chooks, but I think just the congestion around that top 8, if they can string a few good weeks of footy together, they'll be sitting just fine, but it looks a long way away the way they're playing at the moment, which is sort of the worrying thing, barring a few individual performances here and there that have been pretty outstanding. The Chooks, they'll need to, as we keep saying week after week, a little bit of a broken record, kick their A's into G a little bit. And then you've got Canberra, a side possibly the opposite of the Roosters, maybe not too many expecting them to do very well this year, but they're cruising along in that top 8, picking up wins where people think they potentially shouldn't have. And
yeah, that little run there that they had, 5 or 6 on the trot, obviously helps them out quite a bit. But like you said, cruising around there in the 8. So yeah,
it was a little bit worrying last time around when they did play the week before against the Wars, but as we said, the Wars have been playing awesome footy, and yeah, the 5 or 6 weeks before that for Canberra were pretty awesome. When you think they went up to Suncorp and beat Brisbane there to start it all off. Shows you they can, I guess, handle it with anyone on their day. The Canberra Raiders side there, if they can get the best out of the likes of big Josh Papali'i and Jackie Whiten running off the back of it, they're a dangerous side. And I think if you look at the way both sides have been playing overall this year, I think it's pretty hard to go past Canberra in this one. But the Roosters are at home, and I guess you just go back to this each week. The superstars that the Roosters have, it's got to click at some stage.
Yeah.
At least for a game or two.
Yeah, you'd think so, eh?
And this could be it.
Yeah, it's a big one here. They're going to have to, like we said, similar to the Cowboys, need to find that form, need to find that run of games where they can sort of get that season back on track. Could be it. I do think it's going to be tight. Now, I haven't had one of these for a wee while, the old golden point, but I felt like this was the game to whip it out in. And in the last 3 or 4 weeks since I have brought one out, maybe due to a bit of golden point action last week, that it has dropped down, but only $16. But $16 will be enough to get me back into that lead and contest with you this week.
Look, if you can pick up $16, depending on the results beforehand, I'd say that would just about put you into the lead for a few weeks to come. But we'll have to see how it goes. But I do see it. I do see it happening. The Roosters at home, plenty of good players, but the way Canberra have been playing, they'll make it close. So that's a smart bet. And it is a little bit of a return to a theme for you. As you said before, you went on a good streak of 4 or 5.
That's why I did it. Broncos 1-12.
That's why you
Return
did it.
to the fucking...
What you know.
Stick to what you know, yeah. That's exactly why I did it.
Okay.
Jesus.
Because it hit for a couple of weeks.
That's exactly why I did it, yeah. I've remembered.
And look, although this one didn't hit for you, it's got to come off at some stage. So yeah, I like it. And it, I don't know how it works with the betting. If it's just a full time result or if
80
goes,
minutes.
Yep. Okay, so we can't be in the same winning boats this week because I've gone Canberra 1-12 into Joey Manu to cross the stripe. I've done a few of these this week.
No, that can come off. Because if Raiders win it in Golden Point.
Yeah, but I thought you just said it only works for 80 minutes.
Well, no. So the match just has to go to gold. No. Oh no, I thought you meant the other way around. I'm pretty sure that goes the whole way through. If Canberra win 1-12, yeah.
If they win in Golden Point,
yeah.
that hits. Okay, cool. So scratch what I just said then. Canberra 1-12 into Joey Manu. Now, a bit of a theme for me this week, picking the opposition team try scorer to beef up the bet, and that's just what it's done. $10.61 for Canberra to win in a close one with superstar Joey Manu crossing the stripe. So yeah, good value, I reckon. But it leaves us with 3 teams this week with the bye, not 7 the week before. The Doggies and Cronulla, who obviously played each other, ending in that 48-10 shellacking victory to Cronulla there. Nico Hines bouncing back in awesome style.
Yeah, looked like they were going to bring up 60 there at one stage. A few blokes scoring their first tries of the season, and really putting the Doggies to the sword there in that one there. And yeah, like you said, Nico Hines bouncing back from that criticism that he received, maybe showing Freddie what he was maybe missing out on, not getting him involved there. But yeah, huge win for the Sharkies there in that one. And my Tigers, we said before, obviously the Doggies haven't had as many buys. They get one here now. But my Tigers also getting the buy after that loss. And we said it before, the game was overshadowed by Alex Twalgate's try. And I think once he crossed the line, not even crossed the line, he was already over the line. Once he placed the ball on the ground, fell on the ball, it was game over for us. We switched off. We were done and dusted. So
the fat lady started singing.
Hopefully the next time that he scores, if he does score next week, once we have another game, if he does score, hopefully it's a match where I may be in the 77th minute, something like that.
Imagine
maybe
that.
not 77th, maybe 79th. We don't want to be switching off with 2 to go and concede. But yeah, so 3 teams off the bye, 3 teams taking that 2 points and making their way, hopefully all slightly up that ladder a little bit. But it does wrap us up for this week in terms of the league. Now, obviously not too much to speak about really in terms of games as such. As we said last week, a lot of sports finishing up, but it is the English summer. Couple of things that do happen in the English summer. One of them is the transfer window now.
A few big moves so far. Obviously, Jude Bellingham has made his way to the Spanish capital, unveiled as their recent superstar signing. So, yeah, what are your thoughts? Good move?
Oh, yeah, good move for him. I think good move for Real Madrid. it was going to happen at some stage. He was going to be leaving Dortmund.
19 years old, it's pretty fucked.
They did something similar, I guess, earlier on. Bringing in Camavinga. Obviously came in at a similar age, maybe hadn't been on the scene for as long. Obviously Bellingham's been around for a wee while now, and only 19 still, and is he captain England yet, I think, as well? Maybe in a friendly?
Possibly, yeah, in a friendly. When a few others
that
have
might
been
be
out.
slightly far-fetched,
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. He's captain Dortmund.
Everyone's sort of ridiculing Birmingham a couple of years ago for retiring his
now look
jersey
at
number.
it,
And the bloke's made his way to Real Madrid at the age of 19 after having started at Borussia Dortmund, and been a big part of England's I guess rise to a bit more competitive levels at recent international tournaments compared to levels they have been at in the past, and he'd be hoping to continue that, I suppose, for England. But yeah, scary to think what he'll be up to at the age of 29, let alone what he's up to at 19. So pretty loose, but I suppose a little bit closer to home for us, closer to the hearts. A couple of big news rumours out of Arsenal so far.
I guess so, yeah.
A couple internal ones, couple external ones.
We've had a few players rumoured to have signed. There's nothing been that official yet. Saliba, obviously, the big one there, which is...
What's his name? David Ornstein? He's the one who reported that, Saliba is apparently re-signed, but nothing official from the arse just yet.
Yeah, that's obviously the big one. And then Reece Nelson is handy to have re-signing on. Obviously, a lot of players that we probably will be losing, and there's probably some that we will be getting rid of that I'd happily swap Reece Nelson out for, I must say. I don't think he's an integral part of the squad.
No, I don't. Not necessarily, but it's good cover for the likes of Saka, Martinelli, Trossard.
Well, if it looks like we're getting rid of Smith Rowe, I'd definitely be keeping Smith Rowe over Reece, probably.
Yeah, I would be as well. I think apparently the plan is Smith Rowe will play deeper in midfield, like in that Odegaard, Xhaka, like role.
Yep.
You know, like that position rather
I
than
thought we were getting rid of him, that's what I was saying, but
I guess it depends
what comes through, yeah.
He signed on a long-term deal a couple of years ago, so he'd at least have a couple of years left on his deal. So, yeah, see if we get any potential bids for Emile Smith Rowe there. But, yeah, a man you just mentioned, Declan Rice, is all in the headlines. All signs seem to be suggesting that he'll make his way from East London to North London there and end up in the slightly lighter shade of red of the Arsenal. Big transfer fee being bandied around.
Silly money, I think, really. I think it's got nuts how much people are spending, and even in the terms of how much people are spending, I don't know if he's worth, 110 or 120 million.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know
the English tax. Like any English player, they just whack an extra 40 million on what they're worth.
It's hideous. So, you know, it's always the case, I guess, with Arsenal that we're the, you know, we slapped $70 million down on euros or pounds or whatever the fuck it was for Pepe, and you know, we saw what happened there. You know, you'd hate for it to be something like that. I don't think he's going to do something similar. Obviously, already proven in the Premier League.
I think he's already proven to be like a top 5 at a pinch, maybe top 10 Premier League midfielder. So probably not as big of a risk as Nicola Pepe there, bringing him in. But yeah, it's huge money to be spending on one player. But I think, on the one hand, it is probably what you need to be doing if you want to make that step up from second into first, if we want to overcome the juggernaut that is Manchester City. But if it means that that's 75% of our transfer budget blown on one player, possibly also not the best way to go about it. Like you said, a lot of people expected to be heading out the gate, so interesting to see what happens. Because I wouldn't mind picking up Declan Rice if it means we also strengthen in other areas. But if it is, our one and only major signing of the summer,
I'd be disappointed.
It's possibly also disappointing as well. I think he definitely strengthens our best 11, but the theme with Arsenal this year was one or two injuries, one or two things went wrong, and we sort of fell away at the back end of the season there. So it would be nice to have a bit more of a squad going into this year. I'm sure we'll be able to pick up quality signings with the Champions League on the horizon. And a couple more bandied about that I've heard have been heavily linked with the Ars. Moises Caicedo and Kai Havertz.
Yeah,
Interesting ones.
One there I'd be pretty happy with. Caicedo, I'd be pretty happy if he came along. I don't know if I'd be happy if we went out there and got him and Rice. I don't know if I want two, especially if that's a lot of money splashed there on both of them.
They've got 200 million on midfield.
Kai Havertz, definitely not that overly keen for, I've got to say. I'd like to think in a different setup and, playing in a team with a bit more form. He's definitely a class footballer, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
They all had a pretty shocking season last year at Chelsea, but still not really the player that I think we need to be going after at the moment.
I think he's a little bit in that, a lot of comparisons to Mesut Ozil. He's one of my favourite ever players, but don't think Ozil or Havertz fit into that Mikel Arteta mould of the style of player that he's sort of been after. We've seen do so well, particularly last season for Arsenal. He's more of a 10, and we don't really play with the 10. Odegaard, he's done so well dropping further back in more of a traditional 8 role, and also, box to box. Don't think Havertz really has that in him. Also, I don't think he's a number 9 or a winger that would really threaten Jesus, Martinelli or Saka to start.
No,
so I
not at all.
don't see why we would go and spend big money on him. But like you said, a quality player, and if Mikel Arteta thinks he can get the best out of him, I don't see why it can't be a good signing for Arsenal. But I certainly think there'd be better options out there that would fit the mould of the team. If you know what I mean, like I don't really see a position for him in a 4-3-3. You'd have to change to a 4-2-3-1. Or play him out wide, which I don't think would be his best position. I don't think over the last couple of years at Chelsea he's really shown that he's not really an out-and-out number 9. It's probably not a position for him. So, yeah, out of the 3, I'd be probably most cut if we signed Kai Havertz, but yeah, seemed to be heavily linked with him.
Yeah,
so
I think
I'm surprised.
I'd be the same. Most cut if we signed Havertz, and probably most stoked if we signed Rice. But
Yep, that's
the other big news, I guess, or the other big thing coming out of England or happening in England at the moment is the Ashes. Now, how many tests do we have? 3 tests or 5?
5.
5 tests for the Ashes. We are going into day 1, probably starting in the next hour or so.
Day 5.
Last day of the first test, isn't it?
Yep.
All on now, I believe, coming in there at the end of day 4, I think Aussie were 100, I want to say 117, 100 something, 100 low for not out?
For 3.
They're for 3 now, they're at the end of the day, aren't they?
Yep.
But I think they were 100 and something not out, and then there was 3 wickets and about 8 overs at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, Warner and Kawaja had a good partnership, and they were cruising. And then there was 3
wickets inside 8 overs. I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Don't know if Usman's still out there, but Warner and Smith, and then either Usman or Labuschagne falling. So they're 3 down. About 170 to win. So I'd say, game's probably in the balance really. If England can come out, take a couple of quick wickets, 170 with 5 wickets in the bag on a day 5 pitch, starts to look like a tough ask. But if they can go out there and get 1 or 2 partnerships, 170 isn't a heck of a lot of runs at the same time. So I really don't know who I'd say would be in pole position to take out this first test there.
It'll be interesting whether or not we wake up and we see that it is done and dusted already, or well, it probably will be done and dusted already, won't it? I'd say, just based on the timing, depending on what time you're waking up. But we will wake up tomorrow and we will see who takes out the first test, and that must mean what second test must start, I want to say Friday or Saturday?
Yeah, they're pretty close together. It's like in the space of 6 weeks.
So maybe Friday or Saturday there that we start the second test there. But probably about it in terms of over in England now, just across the waters there from England over the weekend in Germany, we did have the Darts World Cup now. Friday morning there, must have been 9:40. New Zealand kicked off their World Cup campaign, and we were up against Latvia, and I had to try and multitask it, teaching the kids and watching some darts. It was a tough ask, and we went 2-0 up. I missed one of the legs. I didn't get to see the checkout, but I saw the next one, and 2-0 up, and looked like we were cruising away. And I thought, this is the big one here. If we can come away with the win here, and surely we can get through. And Matters Rasmussen didn't seem to be on his usual form, and just basically after that, it just sort of fell away. We missed a few doubles. Rasmussen was hot on the 19s like he usually is, and Latvia managed to come back 4-2. And even with the win up against Bahrain, a good solid win there, we weren't able to qualify. Latvia coming away with the spoils up against Bahrain, and ultimately getting the draw up against England in the next round. So it would have been cool for us to come up against them. Would have been cool for Ben and Wazza to be up against the likes of Michael Smith and Rob Cross there. But we did see a repeat winner, and that was Wales coming away with the glory there in the final. It was an action-packed World Cup. There was a bit of drama. We had drama with Belgium early on at the World Cup. We had a whitewash there in the quarters. Scotland whitewashing France 8-0 there. So a few big storylines to come out of it. But getting to the final, we had Wales up against Scotland. Johnny Clinton and Gizzy up against Peter Wright and Gary Anderson, and what looked like it could have possibly been a tight, close affair was sort of nothing but of the sorts. It was a bit of a blowout in the end, 8-2. Wales far too strong in the end. I think the final only lasted about 20-something minutes, so it was all over pretty soon, and it seemed to be that Gizzy was sort of celebrating with a couple of legs to spare. It looked like they'd already had it in the bag. I don't know what that has in store for us this week now. I don't know if they have a little bit of a break after the World Cup, or I'm sure they don't really have a break. They have announced today who will be coming over for the Darts Masters in New Zealand. What have we got this weekend? Nothing. There is a break before they go to Poland, but they have announced the 8 pros that will be coming over to Hamilton, in August there. And we've got obviously, I don't know if it's the top 8 at the moment. I want to say 7 of the top 8, and then I'm guessing Danny Noppert is coming in there at 9 with MVG pulling up. But Michael Smith, Peter Wright, Gerwin Price, Rob Cross, Johnny Clayton, Danny Noppert, Nathan Aspinall and Dimitri Vandenberg are your 8 that'll be coming over to play on our shores, along with Heta and Whitlock, the 2 Aussies, and then Ben Robb and Hopes, the 2 Kiwis at the moment. And you'll have a couple of qualifiers from a couple of DPNZ events that will come through. Top ranked player on the order of merit, I'm going to go DPA qualifier. Oh, that's Darts Australia. So another Aussie gets in there. Three more Kiwis. I'm going to say we're going to see Warren Parry probably involved. I'm going to say, what is the DPNZ order of merit at the moment? Maybe a Mark Cleaver. I don't know if he's up there at the moment. Caden Milne, there you go. He's 3rd. So he'll be involved. We saw him get involved last year and take that win up against Fallon Sherritt. Smiling away the whole way through. Takina Weko, know the name, can't put a face to the name. John Herring, Mark Cleaver there. So there were a couple of events that were coming in. I'll be hoping old Jamie can get himself, well, he's a few points behind, but a couple of wins on the trot. Who knows, we might get to see him there one day. But yeah, no darts this weekend to look forward to. There's always motor starts online, but a couple of women's events over the weekend, and then they head off to Poland. I think that might have even been another week away actually, so might be a bit of a break there after the World Cup.
Off the back of some Welsh national glory. I know
there's a few competitions, a few events throughout New Zealand over the next few weeks, so it could possibly be back to local things like that for a wee while. I'm not too sure. That probably wraps us up for this week. As always, if you've made it this far, thank you for tuning in, thank you for listening, however you indulge. Remember to give us a like, a comment, a 5-star, subscribe, however you get involved on your socials, get involved please. Enjoy your week ahead, enjoy your Origin footy. If you're having a punt on it, remember to do so responsibly. Nothing too silly there, and hopefully we'll see you here next week.
Yeah, sounds like a plan to me. As Gus Gould says, as Nat just said, enjoy your Origin football.
Marshall skips away, Marshall's still going, Marshall's got Richards coming up outside, now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.